You do something for me. Hello everybody, good evening, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and we're live for Champions League football as Manchester United take on Copenhagen, famous for Lego, the Danish. Just a random fact there, I've got more. But yeah, look, massive game for Manchester United. That's the team on the screen there. We've got to win this game. I think there is an expectation in the fan base that we will win, and I think that's a fair expectation to have. I want to talk about the team news in a moment, but yeah, there is an expectation that we're going to win, but there also needs to be a reality that if we don't win, we'll be very lucky to probably even play Europa League football. If we don't win tonight, I don't see us getting in the top two. And I think even if we do win tonight, it's still a battle considering we lost at home to Galatasaray and away to Bayern Munich. So big battle ahead for Manchester United. And I guess we'll have to just wait and see how it plays out, because I think it's going to be a step into the unknown potentially, considering that we don't even know much about Copenhagen. Some people say they're better than Galatasaray. They did get a draw in Turkey and they weren't too bad against Bayern Munich. My inclination is that I think we will win and win comfortably. I just think it's about time. But yeah, lots to get into. Remember, we're sponsored by Boohooman. The nights are drawing in. I've got my fleece-lined cotton hoodie on, which I absolutely love. You can get your clothing with an amazing 40% off with the code Goldbridge. Links in the description, or you can scan the QR code next to me. Goldbridge code, 40% off. Loads of clothing, whether it's gym wear, five-a-side wear, lounge wear, loads of stuff. Just check it out, Boohooman, and you can get 40% off with the code Goldbridge. We've got a little bit of trivia coming up for you in a moment as well, but big shout out to Boohooman for sponsoring the show. Uza says, why is Rashford playing every week? Well, before I give you the little teaser around the trivia that Boohooman have got for you this week, and you can play along, let's just have a quick look at at the Manchester United lineup. And look, my initial reactions are that I suppose the thing I would say is that it's in the sense of an analogy, it's just like the car is damaged. Let's put some petrol in the car and see if we can win the race. Until we fix the damage, we're not going to progress, and there's no way that that's our best 11. So look, I know Casemiro's not available. I know Luke Shaw and Martinez and Wan-Bissaka are not available, but there is a better midfield he can construct. And there is obviously the argument of whether Garnacho should play. Now, there was a rumour going around this morning. I said it was a rumour, and actually I agree that Anthony's playing, but there was a rumour he wasn't going to play. But with regards to that midfield, I hope he does score again, Scott McTominay, but I think he's very, very lucky. And I think the people who say, well, he scored, didn't watch the game on Saturday night. Like, you quite simply didn't watch the game. The guy had 9 passes. 9 passes in a Man United shirt. It's not a joke. It's a disgrace. 9 passes for a midfielder in a Man United shirt against Sheffield United. I mean, that is basically a luxury player. Oh, he scored a goal, so he gets to start again. I really do not think McTominay should be starting tonight, but he probably will score again, and he scored on Saturday. But this is what I mean. Oh, he scored a goal, so he starts a game. I mean, you spent £55 million on a player that you've given the number 7 shirt to. I really thought you might be putting him in today. And this is my problem with Ten Hag on his team selections. Obviously, I back Ten Hag massively. But even I, as a fan of Ten Hag, can say this to you. What's the plan? Like, we know you're going to pick Mason Mount at some point because you have to. So why aren't you? This whole McTominay thing isn't going to last. To me, it's a waste of time. You're going to do it until it doesn't work. And when it doesn't work, we probably lose the game. So I just think, why do it? Eriksen's come off the bench and done well, much better than McTominay. Mason Mount cost you 55 million quid. I don't really understand why McTominay's playing tonight. I really, really don't. But look, I hope he scores. And look, he deserved to start against Sheffield United because of the goals he scored against Brentford. I don't think he deserves to start tonight because I don't think he played well against Sheffield United. And I think Eriksen or Mount deserved an opportunity. And in the long run, I think that is what will happen. I really, really do. I don't see it, long term, it's going to work. But No issue with Reguilon coming back in. No real issue with Maguire playing. I think he deserves to play. He played well against Sheffield United. Back five, I've got no problem with. It's nice to see that we've got Varane back. I mean, somebody said defensive cover, Mark. Can I just say they've got it wrong again? There's no way McTominay's playing next to Amrabat. That's Bruno. Bruno will play deep and McTominay will play in the number 10 again. I guarantee you McTominay will probably score a goal tonight, but he won't do any defensive work. It'll be down to Bruno. So that's what happened against Sheffield United. I don't think that's right. I don't think McTominay is playing in that position. I think he's playing in Bruno's position. So to play McTominay, we're putting Bruno out of position again. And again, I don't get it. Hoping for a comprehensive win, says Andrew Small. Well, I am as well. But I suppose what I'm trying to say is that as much as I don't think that that's the right midfield, I still think there's a big chance that we'll win comfortably. My concern is, if we win comfortably tonight, he's got to pick that midfield against Man City, and it will get... I nearly said the F word. You pick that midfield against Man City and that defence, we're going to get absolutely destroyed. Like, absolutely destroyed. If Man City turn up. I mean, it is a Manchester derby, but I thought he'd have had an eye on Man City at the weekend. And if that's his eye on Man City at the weekend, I'm very, very concerned. You know, surely you've got to be thinking about the Man City game and having a plan. But I heard some people saying that Rashford and Bruno should have been rested for the Manchester derby. I've never heard such nonsense in all my life. How can you rest Bruno and Rashford in a game that's more important than the derby, in a way? Like, if we lose tonight or we don't win, we're out of the Champions League. If we lose to Man City on the Sunday, most people expect it. Tonight's the more important win, really. And I know that sounds odd with a Manchester derby, but we don't win tonight, we're out of the Champions League. We're not going to get through the group. We lose to Man City on Sunday. I still think we can bounce back, but you know, still waiting for that bounce back. I'm hoping for a comprehensive win, says Andrew. Thanks for your super chat. Why does Erik Ten Hag do this to himself? Hope he does not self-destruct with this midfield, says AKA. And good luck for boys from Abu Dhabi. Let's hope it's an easy win, but somehow I doubt that, says Jordan. I've got to look. I don't know. I think with United we could lose, we could win, but I do have a bit of a feeling that tonight we will win. And look, what you've got to bring into account here is that the I think the crowd, even if the players don't turn up, I think the crowd will. And there might, you know what? It's not sentimentality. That's really not the word. But I suppose when you think about it, Marcus Rashford, Scott McTominay, Harry Maguire, British English players. 2 of them have come through the youth setup. The night that the first game at Old Trafford since the passing of Sir Bobby Charlton. There might be some reasoning behind Ten Hag doing that as well. Why are we benching Mount when he's clearly better than both Bruno and McTominay, says Aditya. And look, on the Rashford side of things, DK says people still think Garnacho would start over Rashford in a big game. I'm with DK on this. I said it in the preview. Whether it's favouritism, whether it's right, whether it's wrong, absolutely no doubt in my mind that Marcus Rashford would start tonight. Does he deserve to start? The guy's only scored 1 goal in 20 games. I mean, he's not playing well, but this is... it doesn't even make me angry. It doesn't make me stressed. It doesn't bother me. I've accepted this a long time ago. Marcus Rashford is Erik Ten Hag's star boy, and he will pick him and pick him and pick him and pick him and pick him until he gets proven right. And that's what's going to happen there. And there's been examples of this in the past with other managers and players. Look, Pep at Barcelona would do it with Messi. Cristiano Ronaldo, Sir Alex Ferguson, pick him, pick him, pick him. I mean, look, I'm not comparing Rashford to Messi and Ronaldo. No, I'm not. But to Ten Hag, this is his star player. This is the player he's going to keep picking. I remember it happening with Ollie. A lot of people were saying, for God's sake, drop Maguire, he's crap. And I said, I don't necessarily disagree with you, but this is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's captain, who he spent 80 million quid on. He is never going to drop him. It might cost him his job, but he will never drop him. It's that old fall on your sword, isn't it? Managers have favourites, and if the favourite doesn't deliver, the manager loses their job. So, look, I think Rashford will deliver eventually, but Ten Hag's never going to not pick him. I think there's an interesting question to be had if we're in this position in 18 months and Garnacho's still sitting on the bench in his early 20s. I think that'll be a waste of talent. Alex says Garnacho is gone. He won't watch this lot in day out. And that might be, look, I can't argue with that. As long as if Garnacho deals with it in the right way and doesn't do a Sancho, then he might leave. But I firmly believe that there is a problem for Ten Hag, because obviously he wants to keep picking Rashford, but Garnacho, I'm not saying he's Ryan Giggs or Wayne Rooney, but he is good enough to start, and he should be starting games. And I think at other clubs, he would be starting based on what he's already shown. He's already gone through I mean, my thing with Garnacho is he's already gone through the development stage. He's already gone through the prospect stage. He's proven himself already to be able to, you know, when a young player comes through, whether it's Ryan Giggs, Mason Greenwood, whoever, they have that stage where it's like, oh, look at them. They're just, you know, they're a breath of fresh air. They're a prospect. He's gone through, he's done that. He's proved that. He should be in the team now. He shouldn't be a cameo bench player anymore. He should be in the team. Now, whether that's in for Anthony or Rashford, you can debate that all night. But I firmly believe Garnacho is at that point now where he should be playing games. And some still think, oh, he's better off the bench. But that's only because he's always off the bloody bench. He needs, and people will say, well, he started this game. I said it about Fred years ago. Fred was just cameoing, and I was like, he just needs a run of 10 games in the team. Like, you've got to put him in the team and say, even if you have an average game, you're staying in the team for 10 games. And that's what Garnacho needs. He needs to learn to start games. He's better off the bench because that's all he ever does. To start a game, it's different, and he needs to start games more regularly, but I don't see how that's going to happen. I don't see why Rashi shouldn't start, though, says Tevin. And Eric Ten Hag and his stubborn favouritism on Rashford irritates me, says Jared. It needs to stop. Garnacho deserves to start. And come on, United, says Lars. We've got to win tonight. You've got to win tonight. We have to win tonight. Thanks for those super chats. And, oh, no, it wasn't a super chat. It was Lars, who's been a member for 14 months. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Can I just give a shout out as well to the podcast? Please do check that out. Goldbridge Saves Football. I know a few of you have been listening to it, but some of you won't be aware of it yet. It's in the live chat pinned. Just click and give it a download and a listen later. Really would appreciate your support. United says, Eric Ten Hag started Garnacho lots at the start of the season and he was dreadful. Better from the bench against tired legs. I completely and utterly disagree with that, and I've already told you why. And I suppose the flip side to that would be, yeah, because Rashford's been doing brilliant starting, hasn't he? I don't think Garnacho started 4 games in a row. If he has, I'm a liar. I'd love to see Mount start and do what Maddison is doing for Spurs, says Abby. And I can't believe Eric Ten Hag always starts that grenade launcher. Bruno's a clear favourite as well. Been horrible for some time, but always starts. Well, he's the captain, Zanny. He's his captain. And therefore, you know, he has to play. So there we go. Matthew loves the podcast. Thank you very much. Right, let me just go back to Boohoo Man, who are sponsoring the show. 40% off with the code Goldbridge. Links in the description, or scan the QR code right next to me, or remember that code and go to Boohoo Man whenever you've got a spare minute. But they've given us a little bit of trivia, as they always do. And here we go. I was born on the 10th of June, 1969 in Norway. In 1996, I moved from Besiktas to Manchester United. At Manchester United, I was part of the team that won the historic treble in the 98-99 season. During my time at United, I won 3 Premier League trophies, 1 FA Cup and 1 Champions League. After my time at Manchester United, I played for other English clubs, including Aston Villa and Newcastle United. I earned 62 caps for Norway, and I competed in the 1998 FIFA World Cup. Who am I? Get in the chat, let us know. Who am I? It's not Henningberg. Henningberg was Norwegian. No, Henningberg was not Norwegian. What was Henningberg? Was he Swedish? I think Henningberg was Swedish. It is, you're right. Joe's got it. It's Ronnie Johnson. Well done. It's not Ollie. Could have been Ollie being that, but no, it's not Ollie. Yeah, it's Ronnie Johnson. Henningberg was Norwegian as well. Sorry, I thought he was as well. I did think he was, but then it threw me a little bit. But, yeah, Henningberg. Forgot about him. Blomqvist was Swedish, yes. There we go. Okay, back to the chat. Let me show you. I mean, look, let's be absolutely fair to say, big shout out to Boohoo Man, 40% off with the code Goldbridge. Ridiculous that Mount and Garnacho aren't starting, says Craig. I sense a bit of uneasiness in the chat tonight. Could Garnacho switch to the right wing? He's young and right-footed. Is there such a difference between the two positions? Ten Hag likes inverted wingers. That's the difference. And what do you make of Shea Lacey? in the academy. Looks like a real player like Foden, and is deadly off the right wing. Really exciting player, Lacey. Really exciting player. But we're just going to have to wait and see what happens when he moves into men's football, because there's been plenty of player in the youth team that's been on fire, and that step up is big. But look, there's a lot of excitement around him. Hi Mark, if we have a bunch of players not suited for Ten Hag's style of play, for the City Spurs style, was it a bad move to go for Ten Hag? If not, do we need to move away from these players? We have to play the right styles, as EG. The style of football we want to play will never... The style of player that our team is good at won't win the league. So you have to bring a manager in with a style of play that can win the league. And therefore you have to give that manager time and resources to create a team that can play the style he wants. We can't just stick with this counter-attacking moments football. We'll never win anything. And that's all. And that's what suits these players. So you need to get rid of some of them and you need to bring new ones in. We're going to lose against Galatasaray. They were so good against Bayern and the atmosphere was hostile. Our players will literally clumble, says Supreet. I haven't even seen what the bloody score was in that one. I know I remembered that they'd kicked off early, but I didn't get the score. So let me just tell you that the score between Champions League rivals, 3-1 to Bayern Munich. It was. So a good win for Bayern. I don't know how it went, but that's probably a good result for us. In fact, it is. It's definitely a good result for us. Definitely a good result for us, because if Galatasaray had got a result there, we would have been in a bit of bother. So that puts Galatasaray on 4 points. And puts Bayern Munich on 9. So Bayern Munich are going to top the group, but it leaves it open for second. Bayern first half were terrible. They got dominated. There we go. It was very close. There we go, says XO. Right, thanks everyone for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. We're getting closer to kick-off, of course. I've just remembered I need to turn my TV on. That would be really helpful on a Champions League night, wouldn't it, actually? Turn the bloody TV on. I knew there was something missing. And that something missing was the TV, which still hasn't come on, which is very interesting. Oh, don't do this to me when I've already gone live. What's going on? Not tonight, Jim. Not tonight. Bloody hell. This is why I should always be ready with it. Here, it's on now. Okay. I normally have it on before, and I just haven't put it on tonight. No, not Leicester Sunderland. Dream on. No one's watching that. There we go. Man United, Copenhagen. On the TV. There we go. Galatasaray will beat us. They played Bayern off the park, says Davian. Well, look, even if we beat Copenhagen home and away, I think if we lose to Galatasaray or don't beat them in Turkey, we will go out ourselves. So we've got to get on it, haven't we? Of course, there's going to be a big. Has that Boohoo Man thing changed? I'm monitoring that now. Yeah, it is changing. It's just every time I look at it, Boohoo Man's there. Cello says I predict an Onana mistake today. I hope not. Of course, there's going to be a silence on this channel in the next few minutes, as I'm sure many of you will replicate and share with us, because there is going to be a very emotional minute silence for the man that I call Mr. Manchester United, Sir Bobby Charlton, who passed sadly at the weekend. Flowers on his seat in the director's box. It's been a very immersive and emotive last few days for many Manchester United fans. I found myself last night watching yet another programme about Sir Bobby Charlton. It was on the BBC. Him and his brother Jack talking on a documentary that I think was filmed a couple of years ago, because I think I'd seen it before. And you just can't get enough of it. You just can't get enough of it. All my life I've seen footage and goals and interviews from Sir Bobby Charlton. And you know, I think the last few days I've been watching a lot of them again. It's a mind, really. It's a mindset. You've just got to put yourself into what that great man did for this football club, and you know, grieve and educate and remind, because what Manchester United is now is not that Manchester United. But the thing that makes us that Manchester United is the fan base, the ownership that we have, the way that they've. I mean, look, Sir Bobby Charlton was a very professional man. I guarantee if you'd sat him privately and he spoke honestly about what's happened to Manchester United, he would speak as well and clearly and as honestly as many of you do every day. He would say, it's sad what's happened to Old Trafford. You know, the theatre of dreams rusting, the club in debt, the club falling behind Manchester City, all things that should have been avoided, that lay squarely on the Glazers. But that was not Sir Bobby Charlton's fight. That's our fight. That's everybody else's fight within the football club. Removing the Glazers was not Sir Bobby Charlton's fight. Sir Bobby Charlton's fight was rescuing this football club from the brink after the Munich tragedy and rebuilding it. And he was a fundamental part of that with a few others. You know, we owe a lot to Sir Bobby, and it's sad that he's passed. And the thing that caught me the other day, and I think I'm right in saying this as well, I'm pretty sure I'm right about this, unless somebody's going to tell me in the chat it's different, is that there's so many sad aspects to this as well. One of them being, I think he's the last person who survived the Munich tragedy. So everybody has died now from that. So, you know, that tragedy that was such a part of Manchester United, and Sir Bobby Charlton obviously represents and is symbolic of that team and the way it, you know, the way Manchester United, you know, climbed back from the brink. I believe he was the last survivor of that tragic night. So, I mean, look, it's just very, very sad. What do you think of Tuchel's opinion on Ten Hag that his treatment of Ronaldo speaks to his shortcomings as a leader of men? I don't really want to talk about Keezy. We're talking about something else. With Reguilon playing, Rashford will get support from his overlapping runs, and I think he'll have a better game, says Amab. And let's get a good performance and a good win for Sir Bobby, says Tony. Well, look, so happy to have an actual left back, says Connor. Unlike the game against Sheffield United, where I think United were flat, I really do think that what you've got is a situation where you've got you know, they didn't really turn up against Sheffield United, and I think we can forgive that because it was a very emotive day. But tonight, if some of these players think they can't turn up, the crowd won't let them not turn up. So I think tonight we'll see a really. I just got this feeling we'll see a really good performance from United, a really passionate and energetic performance, because it's demanded, isn't it? And I don't want to put pressure on the players, but it's absolutely demanded that they deliver. Sir Bobby Charlton is an icon of Manchester United, on par with Sir Alex and greatly influential with the players and fan base. He will always be remembered, says PQ. And thank you very much for that. And Ten Hag wants to start Rashford every game, but Garnacho and Pellistri deserve starts. Since they're so young, how would you get them in the team? Well, look, I mean, we keep coming back to this because I think it's a really big topic for people tonight. I think some people are not happy that certain players haven't been picked again. I remember this. I've said this about Ten Hag before. There is favourites in his team. There was favourites in Mourinho's team. There was favourite in Solskjaer's team, and there was favourites in Van Gaal's team, and there was favourites in Sir Alex's team. Every manager has favourites, but what I would say is that if you do have favourites, it makes it very difficult to get people like Pellistri and Garnacho on the pitch. If you're someone like Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp or even Ange, he will take Son off with 25 minutes to go. Even if they're drawing. If he feels that Son's running out of energy or not having a good game, he'll take him off, even though he's his star player. I've seen Klopp do it with Salah countless times. But Ten Hag doesn't do it. And the problem there is, when you're thinking about substitutes, you can almost tell what subs will happen. Because if Martial's going to come on, it's always going to be Anthony or Højlund who come off. And if Garnacho comes on and Martial comes on, you know Pellistri's not coming on unless it's the last couple of minutes, because he won't take Rashford off. So it makes it difficult for those players to get game time when favourites are not only being picked, but you know he's going to be very reluctant to sub them. However, saying that, he has subbed Rashford off quite early in the last couple of games. I wonder what Sir Alex Ferguson thinks of what's happened to United, says Kevin. Well, let's not forget, Sir Alex Ferguson has been through a horrible few weeks. Sir Bobby Charlton would be somebody that he was very, very close to. But more importantly, he's lost his wife in the last few weeks. So, I mean, I don't even know if Sir Alex will be at Old Trafford tonight. I would guess he will be, but he's been through a lot himself. He's suffering himself. Sir Bobby's seat should go into the United Museum, says the Honest Tiger. Well, should Sir Bobby Charlton's shirt number not be retired as well? I mean, there's potentially something to be said there as well. What's your score prediction, Mark? I don't know. I'm going to go 3-0 to Manchester United. Win the Premier League every year with Sir Jim, or win the treble every 5 years with Qatar, says Jay. Jay, you need to get out more. What are you talking about? I'll take the Premier League every year, thanks. Because you're going to win the Premier League every year. What are you talking about? I'd win the Premier League every year for 5 years, or win the Champions League every 5 years with Qatar. I'd rather win the Premier League every year. Of course, I'd rather win the Premier League every year. I've seen the treble, and it's great, and I'd love to see it again. But yeah, definitely would take that and party. I don't think they will retire Sir Bobby's shirt, by the way, but he is Mr. Manchester United. And I've seen other clubs retiring shirts. But, yeah. Okay, we're just preparing for this minute's silence here, which hopefully many of you around the world and at home will share with us. But score predictions, get them in the live chat. I just want to make sure that we start this all together at the right time. It's important when it's somebody this important to take a moment of silence collectively as a fan base. And And there you go. The players are preparing to play the game, but it's important to take that moment and reflect. And what I really like to see, and it is important, what I really like to see is the applause in the... Well, they're doing it again now. There we go. It was a longer than a minute, but it's hard because I don't have the audio on. But it's important to reflect. If this football club means anything to you, then you need to know and understand, as many of you will do, what Sir Bobby Charlton was to this football club. And it's hard to imagine a scenario where these players don't react to it. And also, what I liked before the minute silence was the players the fans who were, clapping, because this is about a life lived. Everybody's life comes to an end. There is no infinity when it comes to human beings. Every life comes to an end. And although I'm sure Sir Bobby, many would have liked him to go on for a few more years, this is a guy that lived a life and lived a fantastic life. And as much as it's sad, there is we're not started here. There is a celebration of a life as well. And nice to see people applauding it, because what he's done for Manchester United over the years will never be forgotten. We're up and running here. Copenhagen kick off, and I've got to say, on form this season, who's better, Onana or Raya? Says it's Louis. I'd say probably Raya. Onana's been pretty bad this season, but yeah, look, I'm really interested to see what Copenhagen are like here tonight. That I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend that I watch Danish football. So I don't like this one. Holding DM, we play now, says Christopher. And even though Man United ruined my childhood, it's awful seeing bad owners ruin good clubs, having had one ourselves for 14 years in Mike Ashley. Get them out, says Darren. Thank you very much, Darren, for your contribution there. Let me just get this done here. I thought I'd already tweeted out that we were live, but obviously lost in the emotion of the tributes. As I said, that is wrong. Scott McTominay is playing as the number 10. Bruno Fernandes plays as the box-to-box player, which I don't like. I don't like it, but, we've got to win tonight. That's all that matters. And hopefully they can react to what will be a fantastic... They're always great nights at Old Trafford under the lights in the Champions League. But tonight, they need to be great. It needs to be fantastic. And hopefully we'll see that. But Copenhagen are moving the ball around quite nicely here. Rashi to score today, says K-Flow. And straight away an early shot. And just wide. And I think he wants a corner. And he's not going to get one. Yes, he is. I mean, look, straight away, that's a tester for Onana. It's going well wide, but you've got to ask the question, why is he not being closed down? Ryan Powell's right. Every team now seems to test Onana from range, which is why we should be bloody closing people down. And that's a free kick easily there. Time is wrong, Goldie. It is a bit wrong, you're right. Thank you. I'll sort it. A few people moaning in the chat already. We've only had 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Take a chill pill. Take a chill pill. It's early days. Come on, Man United. Support from James and CC, says CC. Thank you very much for being a member. And Marvin's not happy that Ericsson and Mount can't get a game. I mean, I just don't like this. And look, I know exactly what's going to happen. He'll score a goal, but my issue is, and I bloody hope he scores tonight, but Scott McTominay playing in the number 10 role puts Bruno back into the number 8 role. Scott McTominay plays in the number 10. He scores a goal like he does for Scotland, and we keep picking him, and then we know what's going to happen. He will lose his place at some point because he'll have a crap game, but we'll lose a game because of it. And we can't afford to lose any more games. Like, if we lose tonight, we're out the Champions League. If we lose on Sunday, it's a long way back to the top 4. I don't think Ten Hag can carry on doing these experiments. He's got to go with what his best team is. And that's my problem with what he's done tonight. I mean, fucking Bruno Fernandes is playing as a fucking DM, hitting long balls like a quarterback. if you're going to play Bruno as the 8, you should be playing Mount as the 10. Ronnie's gaming has been a month for 9 months and 4-0 for Bobby, says Flash Talks. I tell you what, Hoyland did really well there. That keeper's got a mask on and he obviously didn't see. A bit like a rabbit who can't see. Good header by Reguilon. Hoyland. Edge of the box, Bruno. Amrabat gets tackled. Maguire misses out. This is trouble. There's trouble. There's lots of people in the middle. It's a decent cross. Varane. Oh, he's hit the post. Oh my God. All over the place there. All comes from Amrabat and Maguire at the back there. That was terrible defending. Talking about rabbits. That was like looking at the bottom of a rabbit's hutch. Shit pellets everywhere. Amrabat makes a mistake. Maguire makes a mistake. Varane gets stuck under the ball. They hit the post. Maguire makes another mistake. And then there's a block that sends it for a corner. McMessi will be influential tonight. Just not sure at what end, says Jim. Chaotic defending from Manchester United. That's a crap corner. And it's another corner as well. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Copenhagen straight away, little tap, 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 tap. Little pass and moves, quick feet. And I tell you what, I'll tell you about Copenhagen straight away. They look like a team that wants to play a bit of football. Got to score first here. Got to score first. This was because Amrabat is alone in the midfield, says Christopher. Wow, I don't know what he's doing, putting Bruno as the number 8 again. I'd rather McTominay played deeper. Bruno Fernandes is many things, but he is not a box-to-box midfielder. Got to go up the nose of the pitch today, Hoyland, says Diab. And Arcade, thank you for joining the members club. I mean, Varane and Maguire have swapped centre-back positions now. Varane was the right-sided centre-back. Maguire was the left-sided centre-back. They've actually swapped. I don't know whether you've noticed that. They've literally just swapped. That's not a good look, is it? They're tidy, Copenhagen. I mean, I've got to say, they passed the ball around very, very nicely. Yeah, me. Look how deep the defence is, says AK. I've gone 3-0 United, but look at that. They've had 5 shots to 0. Fucking hell. Let's ignore the stats for 20 minutes. They can be false. I mean, they're not false, but they can be deceptive. But the same thing happened to Casemiro. Sorry, the same thing happened to Amrabat that's been happening to Casemiro for the first half against Sheffield United, and it's happening again. And people said Casemiro was the issue, but it's not. It's just being a holding midfielder on your own with runners running off you all over the place. It's very difficult to do it. I don't know what it is, but we just can't seem to start a game. Well, at the moment, what do you think, Mark? What's the problem, says Robert? Well, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. You're at Old Trafford. You know, there's a massive amount of emotion there because of the passing of Sir Bobby. The crowd are behind you, 75,000 people. What more motivation do you need to start a game of football? And I don't want to use Sir Bobby as a reason for it, but it should be a reason for it. But there's also 75,000 fans there every bloody game, and they just don't seem to be able to get up for it. I don't know what it is. I don't want to be talking about this in the first 10 minutes like I've been talking about for the last few games, but there's three potential issues that could merge into 3 reasons in itself. 1, they're not playing for the manager. 2, they're just not very good players and can't be coached. Or 3, they've got fitness issues. That's a nice ball into McTominay from Maguire. He gets it wide to Rashford. Probably Rashford's first little touch. Gets tackled but wins a throw-in. Brad says that Copenhagen look up for this. Yeah, give us your thoughts. K-Flow says, watching the previous Champions League games were so easy to play against. So many spaces and the press is half done. We need to change or else it'll be a long night, says Kay. And sorry I couldn't send this earlier before the game. People should watch United Movie 2011. It's a very strong and emotional movie about Busby Babes and the disaster and what Sir Bobby went through. It's a cracking film, Shahin, you're right. And hi, Mark. It's been crazy. 17 million. If I could ask Eric Ten Hag one question, it would be, what do people like Garnacho have to do to earn their place in the squad, says Jay. Thank you very much there. United having a bit of possession now, which is good. A much higher line as well. Varane and Maguire are right in their half. Remember, says Mark, I don't know what that's all about. I have seen the film. I've seen every film about United, so I have seen the film. Garnacho is on the bench, yeah. Well, they look well organised in this first 10 minutes, Copenhagen. I mean, I suppose one thing I would say is, Rashford's just been tackled again here when Reguilon has... he's run it back, though. And doesn't get a foul. He won it back. Give Rashford a bit of credit there. What was I going to say? Yeah, Sheffield United, good win by Varane in the air there. Here's Anthony. Sheffield United started like this, didn't they? And we got better in the second half. Ashley says, have a stretch. It's so hard to watch United at the moment, isn't it? I'm not saying we're not going to win. We have to fucking win. But it is so hard to watch. As I was saying this to somebody the other day, Brentford was a hard watch. Sheffield United was a hard watch. I mean, is it too much to ask to have a United side that's entertaining? I mean, I don't care if it's 4-4. Just entertaining football. I mean, I just don't know. It's almost like we're allergic to playing good football, isn't it? Missed the first 10 minutes. How are we looking, says Cohen. You'd missed nothing, really. Copenhagen starting off much better than us. It's gone for a goal kick. Stevie, thanks for your super chat. Welcome to the Members Club. Mark Friedman, thank you very much for supporting us. If you want to be a member, click the join button. You get a badge next to your name, like Gems and Jeff and Utstish, who says Garnacho and Ericsson on already. Get Rashford off, says Jeff. Long kick by Onana straight into touch. If that's De Gea, it's getting clipped up. I tell you what, I think Onana's misplaced enough passes now that you could easily do a compilation of about 30 that last season people would have loved doing if it had De Gea on his shirt. I haven't been able to watch United stand since the news of Sir Jim broke. I don't know how long I can keep watching games with more of the Glazers, says Neo. That's gone out for a throw-in as well. If United started like this against Sheffield, but these are 10 times but the team Sheffield are, says Ross Smith. I don't know. I don't know how good Copenhagen are. It's very difficult to gauge teams that I don't watch in relation to the Champions League. Somebody said to me that Copenhagen are a better team than Galatasaray, but I don't know, And also, we're at Old Trafford. I mean, PSG are a very good side, but they looked very meek against Newcastle. So you do get the lovely play here. You do get the... well done, Varane. Teams like Chelsea and Arsenal look miles better than us, says Leroy Cooper. Look like a foul on Varane there. Lovely play down the right-hand side. Cross comes in. They're winning all the bloody second balls. Why are they winning second balls on the edge of the box? Bloody hell. Bloody hell's right. Yeah, so I don't know a lot about this side. El Younisi, I think he used to play for... I think he was at Villa, wasn't he? Another corner. Somebody told me they've got a player. I don't know whether he's starting for them. Apparently they've got a player who plays for them who's like a really talented up-and-coming young Danish player, but I don't know which one it is. Some points, I feel like we don't play together. When we try to build, I see new movements, create space for a pass. Bruno wants to play higher. This is rubbish, SK. Like, I normally will give it patience, and we have only had 15 minutes, but this is shite. This is shit. It's a shit performance, yet again, from a team that should be doing a lot fucking better when it needs to win on such a big night for the football club. It's fucking rubbish. And I'm here saying we're being played off the park by a team that, you know, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal probably beat 4 or 5-0. And we might still win 4 or 5-0, but this is bloody embarrassing how it's 50-50 possession and they're playing better than us. It must be said that chemistry could be an issue here. Last season, you knew exactly who was playing in big games outside of 1 or 2 players. Injuries and bad decisions have a different lineup every game, says Alec. We've got the ball here. We start like this on Sunday and it'll be 5-0, says Brett. I think that Friday game's going to be very different. You know, I think, Sunday game in the derby is going to be very different. But, because it's a derby and you just, you know, I've played with players. I've played the game and I'm sure you've played the game. How many people have you played with who, when it's a lesser team, they're not as up for it? Lovely ball into Højlund. Oh, he's, you know, that's how quick he can be. Give him the service. Thumbs up to Rashford, yes. Højlund, lovely ball by Rashford, actually. Just hit it straight into him. And then Højlund, it's a lovely shot. I tell you what, if he got a corner off that, no, he didn't. Got a lovely play. And that's what I mean about United. You know, we have got that quality. People would be negative and say moments, but I'll take any moment at the moment. United play like me in FIFA when I lose 8 games in a row and I'm just absolutely tilted, says BR. If Erik ten Hag wants to play Rashford into form, surely letting Garnacho run the legs off the fullback for an hour and then bringing him into the mop up the game is a better idea. I said that in the international break, PQ. I wouldn't. You don't even have to. You don't even have to say you're dropping him. You could just say, look, I'm going to start Garnacho and I want you to come on for the last 20 minutes with your fresh legs. Maguire's gone to left-sided centre-back again here. Why is the clock wrong again? What's going on with the clock tonight? It just keeps jumping. It's like Van Halen. Keep an eye on that tonight, everybody. Second time we've had to do that. I sense this, we've had a little bit... We'll take anything at the moment. We've had a bit of a better 5 minutes. What do we actually do in training? I don't get it. It's the same week in, week out. Awful football, says Nick. Well, this is better pressing. Really glad we got Højlund. He's given me the hope that we can rescue something, says Dan. I told you, I love Højlund. He's a great player. Great player. Mark, I humbly disagree. The hunger and drive to win needs to always be there. That's what being a top competitor is, in my opinion. Good play by Anthony down the wing here. And that's from Sumi. And we say it's derby on Saturday versus Man City, but it's a Champions League tonight on the back of a Sir Bobby tribute. If we can't give it up for this, then we're doomed. As I said, Steve, tonight's more important than Sunday. People just get trapped into the derby hype. But if we don't win tonight, we're out the Champions League. Galatasaray and Copenhagen would be on 4 and 5 points, and we'd be on 0. Like it's almost mission impossible to come back from. So we've got to win tonight. Here's Anthony. Come on, good bit of play, good cross, headed away, corner. Come on, we've got a bit of height here. Maguire, Varane, McTominay, Scooby-Doo. This is where we can score. We can't afford a draw, no. We can't really afford a draw, no. But look, not a great start, but it's 0-0. It's so important that we score first. Højlund's brothers on the bench for Copenhagen, says Ross. I've got a feeling we're going to get a Harry Maguire header tonight. I've just got this feeling. You know, he's very good at winning headers. We haven't scored in bloody ages. He's had a bit of positivity around him lately. And it's not that one, though. Headed away. Here's Anthony. Wide to Rashford. He's got a bit of space. There's options in the box. He's refused the cross there, but he goes to Anthony, who's on his left foot. And Copenhagen, look at this. Passing out from the back. And they clear it. Thanks for the super chats. Anthony just used his right foot, says Daniel. We're growing into this game, says Luva. We have been better the last 5 minutes. Let's hope we can continue it. Arcade's just gifted a membership. Thanks, pal. Got to score first in this game. Varane into Amrabat. Maguire's looking for that diagonal to Rashford all the time. Look at Rashford always hugging the touchline on that left-hand side for the diagonal. We're going to go there now, surely. Bruno, yeah, here we go. Rashford on that left-hand side. And he shoots. I mean, I've got to be honest, that's a bit of a waste of time. He's way too far out. Way too far out. I mean, look, even... this sounds really disrespectful, but it's another team that passes out from the back. Get McTominay off, says Harvey. Well, I haven't noticed him so far. Reese, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. Maguire is going to look for that ball. No, he just gives it into... Oh, McTominay. That's 2 touches. There we go. He's just boosted his touches on the ball there. He's had 3. Put a bunny hop in it. You'll have 4. Delo into Anthony. But again, bad pass. And there'll be a foul there. Bit of instruction to Falk from their manager. Okay, long ball forward. Harry Maguire wins the header. Well done. Maguire. Probably was a foul. But we've got away with it. We've got away with it here. Anthony's got past his man. This has got to turn into a chance. Lovely ball. Højlund. Oh, well done. Good defence. And I think he's given a goal kick, which is ridiculous because I don't know how McTominay gets a touch on this. But it was a nice little break from United and McTominay came sliding into the box like he can. I'd love to know why he's given a goal kick here. Nice ball into Anthony. Lovely first touch with the left foot. That's where it can work. Slide rule pass into Højlund. Nice little roll back. And McTominay went with a lot of momentum there. And I don't think he gets a touch on the ball. I don't see how he can. Oh, he did. He did. He did. He did. He did there. He did there. Varane up in the air there. Bit more momentum from United. I think if we can play through their midfield, we do end up with quite a good... quite a good break, but It's moving the ball quick enough to do it. "23 minutes. It's been a better last 10 minutes than it was in the first 10 minutes. Give us your thoughts. What are your thoughts so far?" Copenhagen on the attack here, but we've defended a lot better in the last few minutes, and we've moved the ball a lot better. Reguilon's playing at left back, Ashram. Jim from the Crown, thank you very much for your super chat. Theo says that there's a guy called Rooney on the bench who's a very good talent for Copenhagen. I'll take your word for it. Jason Brown, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. Right, let's see if we can just use a bit of this possession. It's gone up 5% in the last 10 minutes. So it's definitely moving in our favour. Let's see if we can use it into a bit of... What's that from Maguire there? I don't think that was the pass he meant. It's gone to Reguilon, but... I don't like Bruno in this position. You can't. The thing is, the very basic thing in football is that you win the midfield battle. You know, I remember having Incy on the channel. He spoke about it, but we all know it. It's logical. You've got to win the midfield battle, and I think we give too many teams an opportunity to be competitive in a game because we don't win the midfield battle. We give everybody we play an opportunity to win the midfield battle, or at least make it a 50-50. And until we start dominating midfields, we are going to struggle. And I don't like the balance of this midfield. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I do not like the balance of this midfield. When I grow up, I want to be just like you, says Jim from the Crown. Is that from the Crown pub? And I hate the teams who would be scared of playing us a few years ago are now so bloody confident against us, says Keezy. BT commentator just said, where will United be without McTominay's goals this season? Well, at least they're consistent, because we had Sky on Saturday night with propaganda stats, and now we've got another channel with nonsense. No accountability to be open for a pass. Wow, says Kicking It In with Cade. Good interception by Maguire. Centre-backs have done okay, apart from that one chance where they hit the post. I think it was Amrabat and Maguire on that one. But apart from that, they've been quite steady defensively. Could have gone bad for us, but apart from that, and that's in the first few minutes, it's not forgivable, but you can sort of let it go, I suppose. You just need the first goal in a game like this. Here's Højlund working hard. Both Bruno and McTominay just bomb forward, leaving Amrabat isolated. One misplaced pass and they're really going to clean through us, says Kay. And Mario says, Mark, how do we have so many midfielders but can't win midfield battles? We've spoke about it before, Mario. It's because Bruno is not a defensive-minded midfielder. McTominay can't do it. Mount's not a defensive-minded midfielder, and neither's Eriksen. And neither's Mabry, really. So the only ones we've got are Casemiro and Amrabat, and Fred to a certain extent. We're not balanced in that midfield. I mean, Bruno as a number 8 is ridiculous. I never thought at the start of the season that we'd see Bruno Fernandes playing an 8 and Scott McTominay playing as a 10. TNT Sport seem to think we're playing it slowly and cautiously on purpose. If only they knew this is how we normally play. It's not a tactic. We're crap, says Nick. Look, if this game, Nick, goes the same way as Brentford and Sheffield United and we win, ultimately you don't get judged on performance. You get judged on the result at the end of the game. We just have to win this game. But I think, although it's been a little bit better, I think we expected a lot better from this first half an hour. Without McTominay, we probably would have had Gravenberch, says Shahin. I mean, Copenhagen can't keep hold of the ball at the moment, which is a positive. At least we've settled in. I said Fred's gone. That's what I actually said. I said Fred was somebody who could at least put a tackle in, but he's gone. Hoyland doing good work again. I'll tell you what, we've got Hoyland in the game a lot more than I thought we would so far, and hopefully that can continue. A lot more possession coming our way at the moment. Maguire's pointing, that's always a good sign. Amrabat coming deep for the ball. The low. Yeah, Copenhagen can't get a touch on the ball at the moment, which is good. But look, this is a problem again. I didn't think it was actually happening, but so far in this game, Bruno Fernandes, 14 passes. Rashford, 12 passes. Anthony, 11 passes. Amrabat, 20 passes. Scott McTominay, 7. So out of all the midfielders, you've got 16 for Bruno, 11 for Anthony, 12 for Rashford, 20 for Amrabat, and 7 for Scott McTominay. He just doesn't get on the ball enough. Got to get on the ball enough. Look, in fairness, Rasmus has only had 6, but as the striker, that's fine. The number 10 has got to be getting on the ball. It's his fucking job. Swap Rashi and Anthony, get some balls whipped in, says Ben. I'm not a big fan of stats. People are saying that, but look, everybody's in double figures apart from McTominay and Hoyland, and I think Hoyland's understandable because he is in a graveyard shift. We know that. What would you do, Mark? Bruno into McTominay's position and Eriksen, who is Danish. And I know he hasn't played in Denmark for a very long time, but I just think Eriksen, regardless of whether he's Danish or not, would give us some stability in the midfield, and Bruno would get on the ball more in the final 10. Here's McTominay. Gets tackled. Look, in fairness to Scott McTominay, he's likely to pop up with a goal, isn't he? But at some point, people are going to realise that just scoring a goal, you've got to do more in a Man United shirt. You've got to do more in a Man City shirt. Everyone can see how static we are. There's no movement sideways. Passes only helps them stay organised. To me, to you, passing, says Kay. Well, Copenhagen can't keep hold of the ball. We need to be scoring here. Like they literally can't keep the ball at the moment. Their touch is terrible. Their passings fell off from the first 10 minutes. We're winning a lot of possession. Now, whether that's because we're putting them under pressure or whether that's bad play from them, they're not playing well at the moment. So we should be creating chances. Ten Hag is not the right man, Marks, as Hussein. I think we're going to win. I sense there's a change in the game in the last 15 minutes. Is Bruno in a good position? But, you know, to win games, you've got to start creating chances. I think Copenhagen are going to get themselves in trouble. They seem to be a team that want to pass out, and there's an opportunity for us to win the ball up high up the pitch. But here we go. They're on the break. Bit of possession for Copenhagen. Mick says, what's our style of play? I don't think there's an option for it on EAFC or Football Manager. Balanced. I think it probably is balanced. Every now and again, there's a good bit of passing. There's a counter attack. There's a long ball. There's forward runs, but nothing ever. There's never anything consistent. I think we're just balanced. McTominay's playing too far up. Needs to be another option, says Rast. That's tactical though. It has to be tactical. I tell you what, I can't read every chat because there's different players. I'm seeing Anthony get out, then I see Bruno out, then I see Rashford out, then I see McTominay out. I mean, that's most of our midfield you're talking about. United need a class number 8, says Brian. We're crying out for a number 8, aren't we, really? I mean, we did spend £55 million on a number 8. I know he wasn't a number 8 at Chelsea, but I'm telling you now, that was the plan. Mount, Bruno and Casemiro was the plan. Well done, Reguilon. Have a stretch. Yeah, I will. Especially with my back at the moment. It's proper playing up. And Arna goes long. It's accurate. It's straight into the feet of Højlund. And McTominay carries it on. We've got a bit of space here. This could be a good transition into Rashford. What's he going to do? He's got an overlap from Reguilon. The cross comes in from Reguilon. And McTominay goes up and heads it wide. Probably our best bit of play of the game, actually. Was never going in with the header, but it was a good bit of play. We can't play through the lines. It's always sideways. Pressed is half-arsed. Not getting a number 8 last season was a joke, says Tom. Thanks, Tom. I mean, this wasn't bad. Reguilon's cross is decent. McTominay's header isn't good, but, you know, he has got up for it. McTominay has officially taken the Weghorst role, says Hey Jesus. Nice little ball wide. Copenhagen, this is. Rashford clears it well, but Bruno can't control it. And Arna, bit of time. Close to crapping my pants for some excitement, says Mank. Well, you know, it's difficult to know how good Copenhagen are and how bad we're playing, isn't it? I mean, we might be playing okay against a decent side. We might be playing below average against an average side. I don't know enough about Copenhagen, but no plan. See what Ange has done in 3 months, says Stig. But I will tell you for free, if this was at the Etihad, I think Man City would have had at least 10 shots on goal by now. And I don't know how many we've had, but we haven't had 10 shots on goal. And that's no disrespect to Copenhagen, but we've had enough of the ball to be far more progressive than we have been. I mean, look at Onana going long again there. We've got a ball playing goalkeeper, and he's kicking the ball long to McTominay and Højlund. Hi, Mark. I do think Mount is the right gut buy, but unfortunately Bruno and Rashford is undroppable, so therefore we can't play the Ten Hag football, says Omar. They've done well there, Copenhagen. Has Rashi got any chance? And I wish we had 11 Rasmus, says Yash. I hope they don't score from here, because if they do, Rashford's going to get pelters. He should have worked a lot harder on that. Mark, who would be on your number 8 shortlist, says Ben. You know what? I don't really start thinking about transfers in October, but I mean, look, big targets. I'd love Frankie de Jong. I'd love Barella. But, you know, this is why you need a good recruitment department, so that there'll be players out there that are ready for them. A lovely skill there from number 30 for them. Who's that? Mount on for Scotty for the high press. Look at what he did to McTominay there. I mean, the shot wasn't very good, but I don't necessarily, in a game like this, hear me out, I don't necessarily have a problem with Onana, Dalot, Varane, Maguire, Reguilon. I'm not saying they're playing well, but I don't think that they're to blame for how we're playing. They're a back five. Their job is to protect the goal, move up and down the pitch, and progress the ball. I don't blame Højlund, because his job is to score goals from service. My main issue is the two wingers and the midfield three. That's half your team. Those five people make mistakes. You see it in the player ratings all the time, where United have a bad game and everybody gets a bad score, and it's not actually logical and it's not right. Not everybody is playing bad on that pitch. It's not Rafael Varane's problem or Harry Maguire's problem to create chances for Manchester United, but it is the midfield's job and it is the winger's job. And at the moment, they're the 5 players that I'd be looking at and saying, you've got to do better. This game we've been playing this game for 40 minutes and nothing's happening. What do you think this could be? What do you think could be a game changer for this season, says Elias? And least intimidating team in the final third, says Jan. Look, I'm not here to tell Erik ten Hag what to do. I don't think Copenhagen passed the ball that well. I mean, they've just booted the ball out for a throw-in deep in their own half. I think if we put a bit of pressure on them higher up the pitch, they're uncomfortable passing out from the back, but they want to pass out from the back. So, fundamentally, the midfield. He's got to sort the midfield out. That number 30 from them is really good. Love the content, Mark, says Show. And United would be playing better if Erik ten Hag had started Mason Mount over Bruno, says Corey. Nah, come on. You'd still have Scott McTominay there, not getting involved in the game. Ten Hag is in a chess tournament with drafts, says Kenneth. And also, I get a little bit tired of Bruno Fernandes being criticised when actually he's playing out of position again. I mean, how many more times are we going to criticise Bruno for having a bad game out of position? And I know he's had bad games in position, but it's like criticising Amrabat at left back. And he did play badly against Galatasaray, but it wasn't Amrabat's fault. I'm tired of seeing people playing out of position. I can't stand this static football where we play basic football and pass it around the back four and then to change it. Ooh, bring Eriksen on, says United. Nate. I mean, it does have parallels with Sheffield United. We just need to bloody find some chances here, because they don't, famous last words, I'm not going to say it so they score, but they're not creating chance after chance after chance. We're at Old Trafford. There's Varane in the box, wants a handball, not going to get it. Goal kick. How can we be so disjointed as a team with the player we have on the pitch? At some point, you have to start looking at the manager, says Shane. And United has a history of players playing out of position, but the current lot is not talented enough to do it, says Nitin. None of them Copenhagen players will get into our team. We should be dominating, says Kizza. Mark, I have to say, winning titles under the Glazers is delusional, but Ten Hag has not managed to even imprint a style of play onto his team. It's a concern, says Gog. And if you play McTominay as a shadow striker and you make a Bruno a box-to-box, it makes no sense. Why you wouldn't play Mount in either one of those roles is baffling, says Ben. And I get we can't play like City or Spurs. It's diabolical. We can't play decent positional football with a manager such as Ten Hag, though, says Nishank. Thank you very much. I think my problem with Ten Hag at the moment is I've got no doubt he knows what he's doing, and I've got no doubt he's a really hard-working, obsessive coach. But he almost reminds me, and it is quite seasonal this, he reminds me of a squirrel who's spent all summer finding his acorns and burying them. But he's forgotten where he's put them. Because I don't for 1 minute think he doesn't put the work in, but I can't look. As I said, what he's doing here is that team that will come round on the screen in a minute. The United this season is like watching Dyche's Burnley, says Stevie. The team he's picking at the moment is... There's no future in that team. Like, what... I mean, look, I'm not talking about the back four because there's so many injuries there. You can't argue with it. Good play by Reguilon into Rashford, who doesn't get it on the break. It's a shame. There's something really wrong with this. It's not tactics. I think the De Gea treatment lost Ten Hag some credit with a few of the players. Well, I have said that, Nick. I have said that. And I know for a fact that there were a lot of players in that squad. I mean, some of them were with De Gea this week, potentially. But I know some of those players were really baffled by the by how David De Gea got treated. That doesn't mean they're not with the manager, but it just means that they're not, you know, in agreement with it. Last summer transfer window, we needed an 8, a striker and a centre-back. We spent £150 million on an 8, a centre-back and a winger. More questions than answers, says Tommy. And Copenhagen are top of their league with 8 wins and 26 points, says Ronald. But they are a Danish team. Who would be your half-time subs? Says Coops. Is that half-time? He's blown too early. I think the timer must have... I think that the timer must have been wrong. Remember, mine was a minute ahead. I think something went wrong with the timer. I think he's got it right. Anyway, it is half time. It is half time, so we can continue this conversation now. Don't forget that we're sponsored by Boohoo Man on the show. 40% off with the code Goldbridge. Get involved in that. Fantastic clothing, 40% off. Check out Boohoo Man. I'm just going to whack a tweet out. Right, let's fly into it. Look, my biggest issue has come to pass, and it will come to pass even if we're 4-0 up. I said it before the game, and I'll say it again now. I look at that Man United side, and I'll put it up on the screen for you there. In fact, there it is. I look at that Manchester United side, and I go, that team is not our future. That team is a mid-table team, and yet he's picked it tonight. Forget the back four. I'm not talking about Maguire or Reguilon. They're playing because of injury. I get that. You could even say the same about Delo. Forget the back four and the keeper. Look at the front six. Is that the best front six he could pick? No. Is that front six going to get us in the top four? No. Is that front six going to get us into the next stage of the Champions League? No. So why is he picking it? Loyalty? Oh, because they feel because McTominay scored at the weekend? Scott McTominay shouldn't have started tonight. He should not have started tonight. There is no justification for it other than the fact he scored a goal against Sheffield United that most people would have scored. I don't know why he's playing him. It doesn't work. And to do it, the most important thing is, all right, pick Scott McTominay as a number 10, but drop Bruno. Like, drop Bruno and play Eriksen. And this is my problem at the moment. And it's been happening a lot this season. Marcus Rashford started the season as a striker. And his season started badly because of it. And he's never recovered. Bruno Fernandes has played as a number 8 and a right wing this season, and he's never recovered from it. Amrabat has played as a left back, and he still really hasn't settled in as a midfielder yet. And there has to be cause, and, you know, there's got to be concern and cause. I've mentioned 3 players there who've been played out of position, and they're not having good seasons for us. It's early days with Amrabat, I know, but the balance of that midfield is wrong. If you want to play Scott McTominay as a 10, drop Bruno Fernandes. Do not pick Bruno as a number 8 just because he's got a number 8 on his shirt. The midfield battle has not been won again. I'm not saying we've lost it, but we're at home at Old Trafford in a game we need to win against the Danish side, with all due respect, who we should be dominating at Old Trafford. It's a European night. Newcastle beat PSG 4-1 at St James's Park. You can be intimidating to the opposition in Europe on a European night when you're the home team. And we've been about as intimidating as a bloody ant's fart. Can't smell anything, can't hear anything. It's not good enough. So I don't like the midfield. It doesn't work. You know, it's frustrating as a fan of Bruno Fernandes, who I like, but will be getting criticised again. But he is out of position. Like, he is not a number 8. He has never, ever been a number 8. He is a number 10. I don't really think he's a right winger either. but he is not a number 8. And Amrabat's not having a good game because he's having to do all the work on his own. McTominay never wants the ball, so the balance of the midfield is terrible. You've got a holding midfielder who's being overrun. You've got a number 8 who's not a number 8, and you've got a number 10 who can score goals but can't do anything else. And then we're sat here at half time going, why is it 0-0? Why have we not created enough chances? And this to me is quite telling as well. Let me just change that for you. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. United Stand. We're live every night at 8 o'clock, every morning at 10 o'clock. Get involved in the community. I'm going to read some of your comments in a moment. But look at that there in relation to those stats, and I'll come to those in a moment. Sean Turner says, McTominay and Rashford off for me. They don't bring nothing to the team. I'm really starting to struggle with Ten Hag. I really like him, but I can't see any tactical sideline coaching or style of play. Amrabat's fantastic. He clears everything. What a workhorse. And yes, he's blowed 25 seconds too early, which was weird, says Justin. We have the highest wage bill in the Premier League, and this is what this bunch of bums produce week in, week out, says YUFC. Well, there is a responsibility to play better than that. None of the Copenhagen players have done that one. Who would you like to subs at half-time be, says Coops. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. If we keep possession, we don't need 2 number 10s to initiate a constant high press, says Yusuf. And don't deserve to be near the Champions League. Currently an embarrassment to English football. Toothless in a game we need to win. Shambles, says Mr. Sedo. You do wonder about the... I mean, look, I'm going to talk about it in a moment. No movement, slow and sloppy. I just can't see what Ten Hag wants the team to do. That's the worry, Mikhail. Same thing happened last season. McTominay not being dropped because of form took us getting battered 6-3 for Casemiro to play, says the Inquisition. What the hell is happening to this team? This is a crap performance, says Stian. Commentators on the US feed are mocking Eric Ten Hag, saying he should call Sir Alex for one of his famous halftime meltdowns. Says Z3. When will we realise we constantly celebrate the bare minimum and can't even be confident when we score? We win because of the quick responses, says Jeet. Bruno, Varane, Rashford, plus plenty of Ten Hag signings. I'm starting to struggle with the progression, says Sambo. No playing style, no creativity, just boring, predictable football. Copenhagen, the better team at Old Trafford. How embarrassing, says Nasha. And it's like they've been on a 100-mile-an-hour spinning ride and then been told to run in a straight line, coming back into their positions after being played in the wrong ones, says Daniel. Don't know how long I can stick with this. Major concerns over Ten Hag starting to build up for me. Every team is better on the ball. Our team should smash Copenhagen, says Lucas. Mark, we were isolating the back 5 like this last season. I honestly don't remember, says Nacho. Believe Giroud would solve everything in the attack for Man United, to be honest, says Oliver. And games like this are making me lose any hope in Ten Hag. We play like this on a Sunday, we'll get battered, says Kevin. And hopefully have moments, FC, but with the footballing brain of Eriksen or Casemiro, boring football at the moment, says Ollie. Well, look at that. That, in a nutshell, is it. We're back with squirrels again, but that is it. 52% possession to 48. We're Manchester United at Old Trafford, and it's basically 50-50. Shots, they've had more. Shots on target, we've had 1. Corners, we've had fucking 1. It's just not good enough. It's not good enough. And I'm not disrespecting Copenhagen. Maybe they're a half-decent side. But we're Manchester United at Old Trafford, 45 minutes. We've had 1 shot on goal and 1 fucking corner. That's a bloody joke. An absolute joke. And I don't want to bring in Sir Bobby because it's not fair. Sir Bobby Charlton is a legend of this football club. It's an emotive night. And I don't really want to hear or talk or discuss why these players can't raise their game on a night like this, because we shouldn't have to say that. But this is not about Sir Bobby Charlton, and it's not about, players not being able to raise it. This is consistent. This has been happening for weeks. This is a bloody joke. There is something massively wrong with this football club, and I don't know what it is. In my opinion, it's 3 potential things. They're not with the manager, they're not good enough to be coached by the manager, or they're absolutely fatigued and tired, of which none of them are excusable. The amount we paid for Anthony is more than the worth of the entire Copenhagen team. There is your problem in one sentence. Look, Jay, I back Ten Hag. You know I do. I want Ten Hag to do, and I back him. I don't want to sack another manager. I don't want to sack another manager. I've been down this road before. The Glazers are the problem at the football club. But look, there's somebody who's coming in with new ideas, and Ten Hag will always be in danger when somebody comes in with new ideas. I don't want Ten Hag to get sacked. But the way we're playing tonight, the way we played against Brentford, the way we played against Sheffield United, I'm not blind. I'm not blind. What's the pattern of play? What's the style of play? And although the players aren't doing it, what do you think Ten Hag wants them to do? And I don't know. what he wants to do. I don't know what he's trying to do. Maybe he needs to publicly come out and say what the plan is, because what is it he's trying to do? I've seen teams play out from the back and concede goals, and you go, well, they're trying to play out from the back. But, Onana's kicking long balls. By the game, not keeping David De Gea looks ridiculous. And I'm not saying, I told you so, but I don't understand why Onana's in the team if he's kicking long balls, because David De Gea was doing that and he was getting clipped up. So I don't understand what the Onana signing is about if we're not going to use him for what we bought him for. I think Ten Hag had a plan in the summer. And I think his plan in the summer was to play Casemiro, Mount, Bruno, Onana, high line, and pass our way to goal. I think that's the plan. And he's abandoned it. And because he's abandoned it, Mount's on the bench, Onana's kicking long. And actually, I think if you could get hold of Ten Hag now and say, we can go back to the summer and you know what you know, are you going to get Onana? I think he'd say no. Because I think the way he wanted to use Onana and Mount, he can't do it. So he's now stuck with a £55 million player with a number 7 shirt on the bench and a goalkeeper who's kicking it long like we did last year. I think his tactics are out the window. And I'd love to know why. And I suspect it's because he hasn't got the players to play the way he wants to play. And it won't be because Martinez and Shaw and Wan-Bissaka are injured. It'll be because the players can't do it. It's very simple. An artist needs tools. You give a painter crayons, it won't be the same result. Also, I'm going to say it. You don't cure a cancer with 25% chemotherapy. Our club's got cancer, says Sumi. Are we not struggling after last season like Liverpool struggled last season after their previous season where they challenged for 4 trophies, says Urban? Well, look, that's why I mentioned fatigue, because we had a very, very tiring season last year. But then McTominay didn't play much last year. Maguire didn't play much last year. Reguilon didn't play much last year. Onana wasn't here last year. Amrabat wasn't here last year. So, all right, Bruno, Varane, Rashford, they're tired. Højlund wasn't here last year. So you look at that starting 11 and you mention fatigue and you go, I don't know about that. And then the second thing as well is, I watched Liverpool last year. They were a bit shit, but you could still see what they were trying to do. They still had a style of play. They were just making mistakes and they weren't as energetic in the press. But they were still trying to play the way that Klopp wants to play. We don't know what we're trying to play. And I don't know the fatigue thing works when more than half the team didn't play most of those games last year for different reasons. Nick P says, I think it's fractured. I think there's a British contingent who are happy to get on the field and a Spanish-speaking contingent who are a bit pissed off, says Nick. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not here to undermine the manager because I support the manager. But as I said, I will go as far as to say that I am aware that the removal of David De Gea did upset people. Now, you can be upset and professional and move on. I don't think they dislike Onana or Ten Hag. But, if you've got a squad of 25 people and you remove a popular player that everybody likes, not everybody's just going to go, oh, well, it's the circle of life. Some of them will be going, I don't know whether that's a good idea. They won't say it, but they'll think it. You get a picture this week of David De Gea back in Manchester having a meal with Bruno Fernandes, Tom Heaton, Victor Lindelof, Rafael Varane. Do you think they've sat there and just spoken about what they want for Christmas? Or do you think they've sat there and gone, you know what? We like Onana, but we were a better team last year. We knew what we were doing. We knew what we were doing defensively. That's not undermining the manager, but uncertainty is certainly in that team. I don't think anybody's against Ten Hag. I just think the team, it's a bit like having a manager that you really like and trust, and they go on holiday and they come back and you've noticed a change, and that affects your morale. That affects your concentration. And I think from what we were building last year to what we're building this year, I think the players are a little bit sort of like, why is it not working? We're a little bit confused. And that's when it becomes a problem for Ten Hag. Is Ten Hag picking people like Scott McTominay because he'll give his all? Are we? Because if we're at that point, I'm worried. If we're picking Scott McTominay because we can rely on his passion and running, that's what Ollie did, got the sack. Mourinho did it, got the sack. When you're relying on those types of players, you're in trouble. We have no chemistry in the midfield at all. All passes go wide, and there's never been an option for anyone. I think we need to back Ten Hag, says Oliver. No, 100%. I agree. Also, what I can't understand is why through different managers we can't teach this team how to attack and use the ball better, says Warren, because they're just not capable of doing it. You get a bricklayer in to fix your car, They can't do it. I like Eric Ten Hag, but Mount, Anthony and Arna were some of his first choice transfers, and they are the most average players. Well, Eriksen's coming on. I guarantee you it's for Scott McTominay, which is what should have happened in the first place, and it will improve the game. How many times has Eriksen come on in the last few games and changed the game? He should have just fucking started him from the start. I think Ten Hag can afford to have one bad season, but it's the same by mid-next season. I think it's curtains for him, says Quinn. Bruno runs around like a headless chicken. But that's because he's playing out of position, Jay. And McTominay is coming out second half. Oh, dear. 5 times back, 5 pass, moving to the midfield, says Nishank. And wondering if Eric Ten Hag will ever get Man United to play like the 2019 peak Ajax, says Path. I'm interested to see what the sub's going to be here. I mean, are we putting Bruno on the wing? The fatigue excuse doesn't work for me because we were near the bottom for hard work last season, says Kay. And why can't anyone see what we're trying to do, says Luke. Anthony off, Eriksen on the wing. McTominay stays on. Well, I didn't get to say it. My substitutions would have been Eriksen for McTominay. Definitely. Get the midfield back. Maybe even Rashford for Garnacho. Give him 15 minutes. I've always led the manager, but I'm sick of it. We can't continue like this and expect better. We need a new coach or we need a new assistant, says Milverton. Anthony's still on, apparently. Amrabat. Eriksen for Amrabat. He must be injured. Must be injured. That makes no sense tactically. He's got to be injured. He's got to be injured. Yeah, he's got to be injured. You should put 11 sacks of potatoes on the pitch and we play better, says Max. Why not just play youth? Alex, that's not how it works. You can't just chuck young players in. Yeah, Amrabat's got to be injured. You can't do that. I mean, look, even if you think Amrabat had a bad game, he's the only defensive-minded midfielder we've got. So Eriksen, I presume, is just going to drop into the midfield here. Yeah, Amrabat off, Eriksen on. Maybe McTominay's going to be the holding midfielder. I don't know. We'll have a look. I don't think Amrabat had a bad game. McTominay's the holding midfielder now. At least he'll get more touches on the ball. Yeah, that's not tactical. That's not tactical. You don't take Amrabat off for bloody Scott McTominay in the midfield. Yeah, you don't do that. That's ridiculous. He won't have done that. Did the manager get hit on the head this summer? What's happened, says Riker. But, again, I was speaking to Beth about this, who likes Mason Mount, and I said she thought he was going to play tonight. And I said, well, I think he will play tonight, but you've got to be a bit concerned, Beth. Like, this is a guy that he's paid £55 million for. We're playing shit against Sheffield United. He makes 3 subs, and none of them is Mason Mount. And again tonight, he makes a sub at half-time, and it's not Mason Mount. So, and Mason Mount's fit. Like, he's been fit for a while. I think we'll win this game. We're attacking the Stretford end. We've not been great, but I think we only need a goal. I don't think Copenhagen look like they've got a goal in them. I mean, look, that's famous last words, but I don't think they're... We just got to carve that chance open, win the game and move on. I'm very happy, Wahida, that Eriksen's on. I think Eriksen should have started. Every game Eriksen's come on, Brentford, Sheffield United, he's been a lot better. Rashford's unmarked. Oh, wrong cross. Højlund spun his man really well there. But Rashford's made a great diagonal. He's just got to play a 10-metre pass in front of him. I think he's got a bit excited here. Watch the run of Rashford. It goes into Højlund. Lovely spin turn. Really strong. And there it is, look. There's all that space. He's got to knock it 5 metres, 10 metres in front of him. Bruno said it, yeah. Clock. Let me get the clock right here. Getting too excited. 46. 47. Clock's on now, 47, and that's right, okay. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. You're very welcome. We've got our player ratings in the second half. Fan forum as well. You've got to shoot there, Reguilon. Deflection, straight at the keeper. Rashi was in there, Angel. You're right. I think Højlund just got a bit excited. He is a striker. He's spun his man really well, and he's just got a bit excited on the cross. Good play by Bruno. At least Bruno should be playing in a better position now. I mean, look, one substitute. This is what I mean about Ten Hag. It sometimes works like this. One substitute, but 3 changes. Amrabat's come off, but McTominay's gone in his role. Bruno's moved into the 10, and Eriksen's become the number 8. So whilst it's one substitute, it's 3 changes. I think we'll score, but have we solved the Henry VIII issue, says Brian Gallagher. Yeah, I know what you mean. Headless. I love De Gea. Didn't forget the business side of keeping him, wage demand, and Arna playing long because of the back 4 he has now. The plan changed due to losses, says Amici. We replaced the greatest and most informed striker in the world with a bench warmer for our number 7. Erik Ten Hag is cooking, says Parser. Nick, thank you very much. Not sure if we've had any confirmation on Amrabat. I'm just trying to find out for you because that has to be injured. Unless he's just decided to go on super attacking. I mean, it could be tactical. Well, super attacking. Scott McTominay's not a super attacker, is he? Although he can score a goal. Oh, here we go. Maguire, you got to get closer there, mate. That's it. Good save by Onana. Good save by Onana, That's going in. Good save by Onana. Give him some credit. They exploited Maguire's lack of pace there. And, I mean, look, no, actually, forget Maguire for a minute. What have I said to you? What have I said to you? Where's the fucking midfield there? Why is a midfielder making a run and having a free shot on goal? Where's the fucking midfielders there picking up the runners? Time and time again. Bruno with the flick on at the wrong end. They're still in the box here. Man United will clear it. But if that had gone in, we would have been saying, where's the midfield runners? Got time here. Oh, bloody hell. Copenhagen have started this second half like they started the first half. McSauce the physicality for Eriksen. No defence IQ, says Liam. That was a good save by Onana. You know, that did remind me of David De Gea. Big save in a big moment. Oh, fucking hell, that would have been a worldie if he'd scored that. Got to get hold of this midfield again. Midfield was the problem in the first half. This is the problem in the second half. Maguire drives forward into Reguilon. Højlund. Oh, well, lovely play. Lovely play by Højlund. He's really unlucky there. I thought he turned his man. Get it into his feet. Oh, oh, yeah. I thought they might be looking at a penalty. Scorchy says it should be a penalty. No, I don't think it will be. Strong by Højlund there, look. He's got his shot off. Come on, United. We need a bloody goal here. I think if we get the first goal, we'll get this game. It's not a penalty. They're still playing. Scrappy-Doo. More Scrappy-Doo than Scooby-Doo at the moment, but I don't think it was a penalty. You know me, I'd love it to be a penalty. I'd jump all over it, but no, not a penalty for me, that. I've seen them given, but they're soft. I'd be whacking the ball into not whacking the ball. I'd be passing the ball into the feet of Hoyland more. Garnacho says Ostian. Yeah, I think Garnacho is a good shout at some point. Still can't find anything out on Amrabat, if anyone can. Good win. Here we go, Delo. Come on. Been a lot better on the attack since we put Bruno at 10. I know people get on Bruno's back, but bloody hell, we're a lot better in the final third with Bruno in it than we were with McTominay. Good play by Rashford. Cut back. Eriksen. Oh, what a save by their keeper. That deserved to be a goal. He can't believe it. Really good save. We've seen 2 good saves from the keepers here. Rashford does well, gets the cut back. Rasmus lays it off. I mean, Rasmus's link-up play is so good. Lays it off so well. He's going to be a superstar, Rasmus. He is. He's going to be an absolute superstar. Look, the comparisons between Hoyland and Haaland are ridiculous. It's just because of the name and they play up front. Haaland is an immense best striker in the world at finishing. Rasmus is more rounded. Like he can take people on. He's got a really clever touch. His awareness is really good to bring other people into the play. I mean, he's only 20. Like he's going to be a superstar striker. Here we go. Got a bit of a break here. You've got to be looking to Rashford. What's going on here? What's going on here? I don't know what's going on. I've gone quiet. I think it might be a red card or a penalty or a yellow card or an offside. I don't know what's going on here. Rashford, to me, gets cleared out. I think he might be offside. Well, he might not be offside because of the back foot of their defender. For me, that's a penalty. He's gone round the keeper. I don't know. Let's see. If he's onside, that's a penalty. Oh, fucking hell. We're not doing anything about it. We're playing on. You sense there's a United goal coming, though. They're getting a bit stretched. Bruno's made such a difference since he's gone into the number 10 position. Bruno and Eriksen has made such a difference. And to be fair, you know, we're not really missing Amrabat in the holding position. He was offside. He was offside. That's a lovely pass. That'll be a foul. Rasmus reminds me of Harry Kane. Yeah, he's more Harry Kane than Erling Haaland, definitely, if you want to talk about... That's a great point, actually. I almost want to give you comment of the evening. Comment of the evening from Lil Creature. Rasmus reminds me of Kane. Yeah, he's more of that type of a striker. I'll tell you what, we're winning the ball a lot better now. I feel there's a goal coming here for United. Anthony, better in the last 10 minutes. Bruno loses it. Heart of the Harpies says, I can sense a Manchester United goal. Just need to keep it going. You know, Copenhagen remind me a bit of Sheffield United. Sort of running out of steam a little bit here. I forgot to write my message, mate. You are the best. Can you shout out my little brother Nathan? Says Nick. We watch you religiously. Are you going to come to Australia soon? Says Nick. I hope so. Why not Jack? Says, is it not time for a bit of Garnacho? United have won it again here. This is where Rashford's got to score. It's a heavy touch. Heavy touch. Unlucky. Unlucky. I don't see him being subbed off at the moment, Rashford, because he's quite a big threat. It's a shame. It's a shame. If he angles that right... No, it's just overhit it a little bit. Bit of a shame. Yeah. Ronnie says Copenhagen will win. Let me just say this in relation to Copenhagen. If they do win, we are going to be out of the Champions League. So we don't want that to happen. Garnacho on. I can see Anthony coming off. I don't think you take Rashford off here. Criminal that Garnacho isn't playing. He's electric, says Anil. I think he will be coming on. It's going to go for a goal kick. No, it's going to go for a throw-in. Are you happy with Bruno, says Hassan? I think second half, since he's gone into the number 10 position, he's been a lot better than he was in the first half, because I think that was a waste of time, playing him as an 8. It's funny, though, because they are... They're wide open on the break, Copenhagen. That's our best chance. They're wide open on the bench, on the break. I'd like to see more midfield-type players in the wide positions rather than winger types. Better for keeping possession and probing passes. Maybe Bruno, Mount and Eriksen ahead of Casemiro and Amrabat, says Michael. Mate, whatever happens tonight, I know it's a derby on Saturday. Anything can happen in a derby. But, you know, it's going to be difficult. It really is. Because if Man City turn up, I don't know what he's going to do. I mean, well, I do know what he's going to do. He's going to counter-attack, isn't he? But it's weird with McTominay, isn't it? I mean, he's played him as a number 10, and now he's playing as a holding midfielder. I mean, is that how good he is? No. Shot straight at Onana. They've probably had more shots than his second half, haven't they? Let's have a quick look at that. Oh no, we've had 3 shots on target. They've only had 1. They've had more than 1 shot. That's wrong. Those stats are wrong. That was 1 at half time, and they've had... Well, Onana's made 2 in the second half. I don't know what's going on tonight. We've got referees ending it early. Midfield is a mess. Mark, concerned Amrabat is this season's Sabitzer. Will Mount become an English Donny? Doesn't play and wonder why he bought him, says Ross. I don't really understand why Amrabat came off. I mean, did I miss something with Amrabat? Did he have a bad first half? I mean, I don't know why you'd take Scott McTominay, who was invisible again, and put him at holding midfielder over Amrabat. I mean, Copenhagen aren't a tall team, and you've got Maguire and Varane who are good in the air. So, I mean, look, if you're playing against someone like Stoke, you might want to keep McTominay on for height, but I don't really understand it. Garnacho's coming on. Lindelof's coming on. Must be Varane. 60 minutes. Anything can happen. We just need to hope it's the 1 in 20 where we win, says Rory C. I think we will win. Maguire's ball there has just won as a corner. Parts of Højlund's game that remind me of Cavani, says Daniel. Yeah, I think you're right. I think Cavani, Harry Kane, there is that sort of ability to bring others into the game. What I do like is we're winning a hell of a lot of second balls at the moment. I think he's going to take Varane off for Lindelof. Or maybe Reguilon. One, you know, it's laptop, isn't it? It will be the laptop says such and such can play 60 minutes, which we've seen with Ten Hag time and time again. So actually it might be Reguilon. Good play by Eriksen. McTominay, heavy touch. Rashford's won it back. Maguire into Rashford. I think it will be Anthony and Reguilon coming off for Lindelof and Garnacho. Here is Anthony, though. Could be his last bit of game. over the bar. I think that'll be his last touch as he looks to the bench. I think he knows. 15 for 2. And yeah, Reguilon. Told you. That's not. Don't moan about that. That's tactical. I've got them both right. Ericsson, Anthony for Garnacho, and Reguilon for Lindelof. The Reguilon one makes no sense because Reguilon's a left back and Lindelof isn't, and Lindelof can't overlap like Reguilon does. But it's basically going to be because of giving he can't play 90 minutes. No place for Mount again. Yeah, Jordan's just messaged me about that. Afraid Eric Ten Hag and his favourites are going to cost him a job, says Stig. And Mark, do you think McTominay's only playing because the media hyped his last performance up? Don't think he played that well. Dazzo, we haven't got a manager that's playing to the media, surely. Midfield is a mess. We've done that one from Ross. Shot from distance. Onana gets behind it. Another confident boosting game for Onana. You know, when you think about some of the goals that he's conceded, Eriksen's going to save the day, says Robert. I've been very impressed with Eriksen again. You know, I know, Robert, you're a big fan of his, but look, there has to be an evolution from Eriksen. We saw last season that he has his weaknesses. We've seen this season he has his weaknesses in picking up the runners, but he's still, you know, Rashford's gone to the right wing. Which, again, it's one substitution. Oh, lovely play by Copenhagen here. It's one substitution, but it's 3 changes, isn't it? Because Rashford's gone to the right. Garnacho goes to the left. Free kick by Maguire. I think he's a bit unlucky there, really. Number 7 shirt feels heavy on Mount, says Harry. I like how in Ten Hag's team playing horrible football every game, Rashford, even Anthony, doesn't make you lose your spot, says Space. There's a lot of people in the chat saying we're going to get absolutely battered on Sunday. I get your point, but you've got to live in hope of the derby being a factor. I don't think that was a foul, by the way. Clean sheet would be a confidence boost for Onana, says Frank. Well, he's got a difficult free kick to play here. Aldridge says we're going to get what was it, Khalifa someone? Oh, I don't know what her name is. Free kick straight into the wall. Good reactions by Delo. Time for a stretch. 65 minutes. Still half an hour to go here. But, well, actually, I say half an hour. In the Champions League, they don't actually add that much time on, do they? I'm too old to say we're going to get battered in the derby. Man City will be favourites, but even in recent history, I remember us being 2-0 down at the Etihad, and they were going to win the title that day, and we won 3-2. So anything can happen in a derby. I've seen it go the other way as well. I've seen crappy Man City teams beat Man United. So, good run into the box. Side netting. Great play by Varane. He's had a steady game, hasn't he, Varane? It makes a big difference having Varane in the team. Nicky Smith, thank you very much for joining and being a members club. And our best midfielder is Amrabat, Casemiro and Ericsson, says Dave. We're where we were against Brentford and Sheffield United now. We're just waiting for that moment, aren't we? What a ball. What a ball. Garnacho, he's going to do it. No, he's not. He's a heavy touch again. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. What a ball that is by Bruno Fernandes, by the way. Their defenders are busting a gut to get back, and the precision and weight of that pass by Bruno is brilliant. It's just another situation where a striker's had a heavy touch. We've seen Rashford do it. We've now seen Garnacho do it. You know, if you're Eric Ten Hag and we don't win this game, you're going to talk about those 2 moments and you're going to say, you know, players can't fight for Bobby, forget a derby, says Mystic. Well, that was a good pass by Bruno, you know. I think people... This is the trouble with agendas, isn't it? People are blind. They get so lost in an agenda that they're blind to it. This is why I don't have an agenda against Harry Maguire, because he's actually done well tonight. You know, he's had a decent game again. I think him and Varane have played very steadily. And I can say that. Even though I would have sold him in the summer, I can still say that. But, you know, people who don't like Bruno are going to say, oh, you know, he's crap, but he's just played a bloody brilliant ball. And if Garnacho scores that, we're all saying, what a pass. Passing too slow and no game plan. This is a hard watch. I still think there's a goal coming here, John. I do. I think there's a goal on the break coming. Eric has lost it. Scott should have gone off for Ericsson. Works better with Amrabat. Mount on for Anthony, says Gooch. Yeah, but do you think Amrabat might be carrying an injury? I'm still not convinced that Amrabat's been taken off for having a bad 45 minutes. I don't know whether we've heard it from anybody, but goal kick. I mean, I'll try and find out. Ryan's in the press box. He might know. What, this pass by Bruno? Look at it. Such a good ball. It's a delight. That's a brilliant pass by Bruno, you know. So good. Apparently there was boos at half-time. Laurie Whitwell in The Athletic. Painful 45 minutes. Summed up by Amrabat tackling himself. Anthony dribbling the ball straight out. And Onana delaying a long pass only to hit touch with no one near. Boos greet the half-time whistle. Can't find anything about Amrabat, by the way. Oh, they're in down the left-hand side. Maguire, look at him. He's pounding like a snail through peanut butter. And it's a great tackle by Lindelof. And it should be a foul as well. Lindelof's furious. Good play by Lindelof. Mark, have you ever considered starting a forum where the community can chat? What, Rory, like the Discord? Like the Discord that we use for the call-in show every week, sometimes twice a week. Yeah, we have thought about it. Honestly, just support the team, guys. Talk afterwards about the performance, as Ryan. Well, everyone's got a right to watch a game how they want to, Ryan. I mean, you say support the team, but there's fans at the ground who paid their money, who booed them at half-time. So this myth that being negative is toxic and that is nonsense. I mean, I've been at football games before social media existed, and people were, you know, moaning about performances. So good win by Maguire there. He's going to go on the overlap to Garnacho. Cross is decent, goes for a corner. We will never win as long as McTominay keeps getting in the team, says Jason. Well, we've won the last two. Look, I don't think it matters who's on the pitch at the moment. I'm getting Brentford vibes. You know, it's becoming chaos. We've got to win the game. Like, it's becoming chaotic. We've been in this position before. Can't remember the game where Ronaldo scored. That was a Champions League game, wasn't it? You know, we're in that. Maguire! Harry Maguire! I told you! I predicted it! Redemption arc! Put your fingers in your ears! There we go. There's the slide. There's the goal for Manchester United. I predicted it, didn't I? All the negative people, I told you it was going to happen. And it's happened. And guess who put the cross in? I mean, I tell you what, my gran would have headed this in. I mean, fair play to Maguire, but it's right on his head. 6 yards out. Christian Eriksen with the cross. And Harry Maguire with the goal. Bangs the chest. Bangs the badge. The redemption arc has been incredible. And it's a goal. A goal. For a fucking moment there, I thought the referee was doing a goal check. And he's given it. And it's 1-0 to Manchester United. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. We needed that. It is Ericsson. Watch this. Lovely touch by Delo. Yeah, he's definitely... There's two players offside, but it's not Maguire. And the cross by Ericsson is pinpoint. What a ball by Ericsson. He's been the game changer for me. Man of the match. He's been brilliant. Absolutely superb cross. Relief. Absolute relief. Absolute relief. Taito's gifted 20 memberships. Lee, thank you for being a member for 43 months. It's not offside. Manchester United lead. And let's just get out of Dodge. Let's get these 3 points and get out of Dodge here. Yes, it's funny, isn't it? I was just saying just before. It's got Brentford vibes. It really has. It's just sort of like, what are we playing? I don't know. What's the pattern? I don't know. But let's just suck that ball into the back of the net. And that's what's happened there. Seb will be buzzing. He's in bed. He's going to be absolutely buzzing tomorrow morning. I told him, I said to him yesterday, you do know that Harry Maguire's back in the team. And he just had a little smile. And he'll be absolutely buzzing tomorrow morning. It's a shame it's a night game. If it was an afternoon game, we could get him in. After that header, please predict a 4-0 victory for United against City. Ryan, look, you know, this is your agenda, isn't it? 20 minutes ago, I said people won't acknowledge the pass from Bruno because they've got an agenda against him. I said, I'm not a massive fan of Maguire. I don't think he's good enough for Man United, really. But he's played well the last few games and he deserves to start. And I also said in the first half, I had a feeling he was going to score. I mean, I support Manchester United. I don't have these... I've seen people who, when we score a goal, because they want Ten Hag out, or if Bruno scores because they don't like Bruno, or when Delo scores because they don't like Delo, they're miserable. I don't care who scores the goals. We needed to win tonight. We needed to win against Sheffield United. We needed to win against Brentford. It's 3 wins in a row. It might not be pretty, but I don't care who scores the goals. Look, Maguire deserves to start. He deserves to start against Man City on Sunday. I don't think McTominay does, but I think Maguire deserves to start. And look, I'm sure there will be weaknesses to his game that get exposed because they've always been there. But at the moment, we have... I'm not really bothered about the defence. For me, the defence is... you've got no Martinez, you've got no Shaw, you've got no Wan-Bissaka. How you construct your defence is absolutely fine. Midfield, I'm concerned. I mean, we've spent £55 million on Mason Mount. He can't get a bloody look in. Marcus Rashford and Anthony are not playing well, and Garnacho only comes on as a sub. Pellistri can't get a look in. You know, there's issues in those areas, but there's not an issue with the defence. I fancy us to get a second goal here. Copenhagen are... Oh, Rashford, that's wild. I'll be happy to see Harry play if I can get in Sunday, says Raul. Let's just get these points now. I just don't want there to be a sting in the tail. And I tell you what, I'll quite happily... I mean, for me, man of the match is Eric Ten Hag. My man of the match is Ericsson, because he's changed the game and the assist was on a plate. You know, anybody scores that goal. I'm glad Maguire scored it, but anybody scores it. But for me, the thinking person's man of the match is Ericsson because he's changed the game. But I don't mind him if you want to vote Maguire. If you want to go with the goal, that's fine. I said Delo at the weekend because he scored the goal. So I don't mind if Maguire's man of the match because he scored a goal. But I've just had a ridiculous sticker sent to me of Harry Maguire on all fours with no shorts on. That is filth. Redemption arc is on, says Steve. Look, what annoys me is the idiots who start talking about negativity and toxicity. You know my stance on Ten Hag, 100% behind him. You know my stance on Manchester United under Ten Hag, 100% behind them. And you know my stance on players. If I don't think they're good enough, I'll say it. And if I think they should be sold, I'll say it. But if they come into the team and start performing, then I will praise them. The same thing happened with Matic. I was fed up with Matic. I said, he's a bag of cement. He's useless. I remember Matic getting angry with the crowd at Old Trafford because they were asking him to pass forward. And then suddenly, he started playing really well for 8 months. And everyone was like, this is the proper Matic. And that's what it should be. It's not negative or toxic to say a player is not playing well in a Manchester United shirt. They have to up their game. This has got to be a goal. McTominay. Garnacho, great save. McTominay. Oh! He could have had an assist. Garnacho missed. And then he's put it wide. Imagine that. McTominay and Maguire, the goal scorers. It would be like a parallel universe, but a nice one. Harry's going to have a masterclass against City, says Harry. Look, Maguire has to play against City. There's no argument. I think Varane's been brilliant tonight, Sharvin as well, yeah. Look, Varane's been the better centre-back, but Maguire's scored the goal. I'd have put money on McTominay scoring that, you know, from there. I'll get the player ratings over. Has removing the captaincy helped Harry, says Wayne, and Harry focused on performance, not the captaincy, says Faris. Look, the captaincy can weigh heavily on people. It's tough being a captain because you've got to think of everybody else as well. Is Rashi been better off the right, says Niall? I like Rashford off the right. Some people like Rashford down the middle. Rashford doesn't like being off the right or down the middle. He likes to be off the left. I just think Garnacho's too good. What a cross. I think Garnacho's too good. He's too, you know, Garnacho off the left is just so much more creative. The thing about Garnacho is he's a creative. Like he wants to pass the ball. He wants to pass and move. It's a completely different player to Rashford. And that's nothing against Rashford, but here's Eriksen again. Into Lindelof. Back. Ooh. That's a foul. Bruno's going to get booked. Do remember, we've got Copenhagen again before the international break. So we've got to beat them twice. That's a yellow card for Bruno. You can't argue about that. He didn't get the ball. It is a yellow. Thanks everyone who's been tuning in, by the way. Please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. I don't even know what we're doing for subscribers at the moment on this channel. We're really close to 762,000. Bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Don't forget, we're live every morning at 10, every night at 8 o'clock. Massive build-up to the derby coming. Really interested to see what team he's going to pick in the derby. Defensively, I don't think there's a lot to do with the defence. I think it will be Reguilon, Dalot, Varane, Maguire. But midfield, I think he's got a lot to do. You know, we've won this game, deservedly so. Another corner. Player ratings are out. Let me get them for you. Mark every player out of 10. 6 being the average. We'll go through that on the match reaction show. There we go. I think Højlund's played well as well. Yeah. I'll be interested to see what the player ratings are like, because I like it when we win a game 1-0. And there are people who've probably not performed that well, and then there's people who have performed well. Be interested to see what people give Ten Hag out of 10, really. I mean, I think the Eriksen sub is inspired, but should have been in from the fucking start. I mean, that's the problem, isn't it? Player ratings in the video description. 10 minutes to go. Copenhagen have been relatively I mean, they've not been... They've been a bit like Sheffield United, I think. They've not carved open clear-cut chances. They've been half chances, haven't they? Whereas the best chance of the game fell to us, and we took it. In fact, we probably had the best 3 chances when you think about Garnacho and Rashford going through. But they've been all right, Copenhagen. I mean, I personally... Having watched them now for 82 minutes, I don't know what everyone else in the chat thinks, but I would say that Copenhagen remind me a little bit of... Oh, they're in. Shut up, Brent. Brilliant by Varane. Brilliant by Varane. Absolutely brilliant. He's played so well. He won't get the headlines, but he's been bloody brilliant. And that is not easy to do, what he's done there. Put it over the bar. Superb. Very impressed with Varane tonight. I mean, I'm not impressed with Varane. I expect it from Varane. I think he's massively underrated in this fan base. Massively underrated in this fan base. In this country as well. They just don't get how important he is for us. If he could stay fit every single game, I'd give us a chance. Garnacho lifts the crowd. The team responds. It's simple, says Wayne. Martial's going to come on as well. I was going to say something then, though. I forget what it was. Yeah, I think Copenhagen, I would say, are probably on a level in the Premier League with somebody like Forest. I think Crystal Palace had beat them. I think they're just above relegation in the Premier League team. That's where I'd put them. Ten Hag, another average tactician, says Tabo. We're winning. They're not as good as Aston Villa. Fucking hell, you're having a right laugh. They're not. They're not. They've got no cutting edge. I think they're better than Burnley, Luton and Sheffield United, but I'd put them in the category of probably a Forest. Play. That goalkeeper reminds me of Crab Feeder. Oh yeah, Faber. Yeah, if you know, you know. Martial coming on for Rashford. Well, if he'd had not had a heavy touch, he could have got a goal. We need to be patient about team and we need to build, says Sickle. No, it's not Rashford coming off. It's Rasmus. Henrik Larsson's son just came on, says Waleed. I mean, that was a comical moment, but I'm sure there'll be people in the chat who are just going bloody typical again. You know, Rashford should be coming off, but it's Højlund who goes off. No Mount again. I mean, look, it's not a headline. I've just tweeted it there, but it's you know, he's made, how many subs has he made? 4. I think it just comes down to trust with Mount. You know, you could bring him on for Bruno, but he doesn't want to do it when it's 1-0. There still could be a sting in the tail. Document says that Mark's scared to talk about Rashford negatively. Mate, I'm not scared to talk about anybody negatively. I've been very, very real in relation to Maguire and McTominay and why I would have got rid of them, and I think they should have gone. Harry Maguire's doing really well at the moment, and fair play to him. Hopefully it can continue because, you know, we've got injuries in defence. I'm not scared of whether I like a player or not, praising them, and I'm not scared about whether I like a player, criticising them. If Bruno Fernandes has a bad game, I'll tell you. Marcus Rashford at the moment is in a dreadful, dreadful, dreadful vein of form. And I can't believe he hasn't scored a goal against Sheffield United, Brentford or Copenhagen. I mean, these are, you know, he's not playing very well. Ten Hag is sticking with him, which I expect he will continue to do. I'm very surprised because when I saw Rashford playing for England he looked a different, confident player. But then again, the goal was completely on the break and it was a lovely finish. But I think that with regards to Rashford, look, he's not playing well. I'm not going to pile on like some people are. You know, there's a lovely cross on to Garnacho if he can get it right, Delo, and it absolutely has. Oh no, it's gone over him. It's gone over him. But the clock's running down, that's the main thing. Has it been pretty? No. I mean, again, you could look at it like Brentford. You're losing the game in the 92nd minute and you win the game. You go, wow, blink and you miss it. Sheffield United, Delo scores a banger. Keeper actually made a mistake in that game. If you watch the football fill-in, he should have saved it. And then tonight, one moment of magic from Eriksen and Maguire scores. I mean, we've won 2-1, 2-1, 1-0 against teams where really you'd hope that we would be winning, you know, maybe 2-0, 3-0. It's still not clicking, and Man City come on Sunday. But at the other end of the table, at the other flip of the coin, the other side of the coin, it's a clean sheet. And Arna made some good saves. It's a win when we needed to win. It keeps things alive. Those 2 wins in the Premier League keep the hope that we can get up to top 4 alive. The win tonight keeps it alive. You know, sometimes winning when you're not playing badly, winning when you're playing badly is never a bad thing. As Simon said, terrible performance, great result. Yeah, I don't know whether I'd go terrible. I thought the first half was terrible. Second half, I don't know whether I'd go terrible. It's been better. But, yeah, again, there's still no real identity, is there? I mean, there's pattern. It's a balanced team, isn't it? You see little bits of this, you see little bits of that. I mean, look. I mean, I can't believe that. It's still deceptively equal. Possession, shots on target. They've had more corners, pass completion. And I feel that Copenhagen have been quite wasteful. I mean, we're going to have to be better when we go over there. Thank you very much to Boohoo Man, by the way. I've got my Boohoo Man hoodie on. Don't forget you can get 40% off with the code Goldbridge. Christmas is coming as well. There's loads of clothing you can get there. Get a bulk of clothing with Boohoo Man. Links in the video description, or go to boohooman.com and just use the code Goldbridge. You'll get 40% off today, tomorrow, tonight. Get on with it. Thanks to Boohoo Man. Here's an interesting stat for you. Somebody did ask this, and I am going to be fair. Remember, Scott McTominay only had 9 touches in the first half, and the same at the weekend. He's gone into the holding midfielder role, and he's had 30 touches now, which is far better. Eriksen's had 30 in 45 minutes. McTominay's had 30 in 90. But it's still an improvement. Two best passers of the, well, most passers of the game, Varane and Maguire. Look, I think Varane's been brilliant. I think Maguire's had a good game. I think Højlund had a good game. I think Onana's had a good game. There was somebody else I wanted to shout out as well. Eriksen. For me, Eriksen's just been the game changer. Again, he's just balanced the game now. I think Eriksen's played really, really well. And obviously the assist was delightful. But three very similar. Oh, offside. I thought he was going to give a penalty there for a shot on Maguire. It hits him in the chest. You know, for a minute there, I saw the referee go for his whistle. I thought he can't give a fucking handball for that. There's an offside in the build-up. Offside in the build-up. And it wouldn't have been a handball. What a cross by Eriksen. Good header by Maguire, of course. Don't take anything away from that. You've got to be in the position to score the goal. You've got to stay on side to score the goal. But it'll be interesting to see who everyone goes man of the match. It's got to be between Maguire and Eriksen for me. Garnacho's been good since he came on. Varane's been very, very good. That's a late corner here, though. I mean, they're pushing. They're pushing. We've got the height from a corner. That's one thing I would say. I've sort of written Copenhagen off here. I've sort of said, that's it. It's over. It's not over yet. Delo's played well, says Nikhil. Yeah, I don't think any of the defence has done bad. It's a clean sheet. I think they've done okay, yeah. This is it. 4 minutes have been added on. This will be it. We should be dealing with this corner. We've got so much height in there. They don't. Penalty. Oh, my fucking God. I can't believe it. I can't believe this. He's given a fucking penalty. You can put makeup on a badger's arse, but it's still Scott McTominay, isn't it? I mean, fucking hell. I can't believe it. He can't be giving... You know, he's in the team for scoring goals, but he's now giving penalties. I mean, bloody hell, he's on... I think it... I think it is a penalty, you know. He's gone to kick the ball and he's kicked the player, and fucking hell, man. To be fair, in fairness, they're doing a penalty check. In fairness, he has got to kick that ball, and it is. I don't like these penalties because, in fairness, he's got to try and kick the ball. But you see them get given. We see defenders blind all the time. They go to kick a ball. They don't know a player's there. Yeah. He's given the penalty. Onana, what's your name? I mean, look, let's get ready here. Like, you know, it's unbelievable if we don't win this game because it's literally the last kick of the game. It's got Brighton written all over it. But Onana went the right way. He went the right way against Sheffield United, and it was a good penalty. He's had a good game. This keeper's had a good game. He's had a good game. He's had a bad start to his career at Manchester United. This is Martin McCutcheon time. This is his moment. This is his perfect moment. This is Champions League qualification on this. This is Champions League qualification on this kick. Because 1 point from 9 is going to make it virtually impossible for Manchester United to qualify here. It's a left footer. I'd go to your right. I'd go to your left, Onana. Same way as he did against Sheffield United. This is his moment. This is everybody believe in it. Onana. He's done it! I told you! I bloody told you! I told you! Onana's made the save. He went to the left. Prediction bridge again, and Onana has made a massive save for Manchester United that will keep us in this Champions League. It's absolutely huge. McTominay's giving him a hug. I'd be pushing him away, you absolute prat. But it's a massive save for Onana. The night is full of redemption and joy. We've had a Harry Maguire goal, and now we've had a Onana redemption as well. You may as well call it the redemption arc of Manchester United. Oh, what a moment. I tell you, I got it wrong by a couple of days. I thought he was going to save the Sheffield United one. And I had a feeling he was going to save that one. And left footer, I just felt he was going to go to the left of the keeper, and he did. And the final whistle's gone as well. Get in. That is such a massive win for Manchester United. It's a scrap. This is football. You know, it's got so much. It's a second game in a row at Old Trafford where your emotions are literally on a knife edge. You know, the Brentford game, it's a great save by Onana as well. The Brentford game is all about, you know, literally the last kick of the ball. And then this one, it's all about the last kick of the ball. I mean, look, we could have drawn with Brentford and drawn tonight, and it's a very different season. But look, maybe we're delaying the inevitable. Maybe we're just not good enough. But at the moment, we are getting through. Don't forget to do your player ratings. What the hell is going on out here, says CC. Wow, redemption, Onana, what's my name? I'm going to have to add Onana to the title. Right, let's go over to the match reaction. I'll be there in a minute with you. What's his name? Says KFJ. Well, look, what excitement at the end. Has he just stolen man of the match? Some of you might have already voted your player ratings. I'll see you on the match reaction. I'll be there in a minute.